All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanan, and we are in this video are going to be in again in the 147-pound division, where Errol Spence Jr. Lets his actions speak for him and calls out Terence Crawford again. Unfortunately, though, Terence Crawford didn't feel the same way. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanan, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division doing another post-mortem on the fight that took place this weekend between Terence Crawford and David AVANESYAN and what has happened in the aftermath of that. And slightly before the fight, really, because Errol Spence Jr. again came out and through his actions said, we trying to make that Terence Crawford fight still. Where are you, Terence Crawford? Now, before I get into the details of it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, like my guy, Subjugated Truth, great. It was very, very, very fun talking to you this last Sunday morning in the live stream that we did. And thank you, brother, for all the support that you show in the channel, along with the rest of the family members in the super chat, the Cash App, and in the super thanks that you have in these videos with the $sign and the heart, because that is how YouTube content creators are able to continually provide the material that you like or the content that you like. So thank you guys so much. And if you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. But also always just stop by the channel and check it out, see if we have something else new, because sometimes those notifications, to be honest, don't work. But thank you so much for your continued support. Let's get into this. Fight took place this weekend when exactly the way that most people thought it would, which was Terence Crawford knocking out David AVANESYAN, the Armenian welterweight who had already been knocked out by Egis Kalvanakis, who Terence Crawford had already knocked out. Not by any stretch of the imagination was that guy a top contender or somebody that was really taken seriously going into the Terence Crawford fight. But Terence did what he was supposed to do, and Terence did what he's supposed to do by knocking the guy out. Did not look bad in the fight. Looked good in the fight. David, the only thing that I would say was interesting was that David AVANESYAN was able to consistently cut off the ring on Terence, and Terence was not really able to at any point in time really get away from him. Now, some people may say, hey, you know, he really wasn't trying to do that. And that very well may be the case. Like I said, this guy was somebody that had absolutely nothing there that Terence Crawford needed to worry about. So it very well may have been that, you know, that's just how he fought that guy. I, however, you know, just will say that Terence Crawford in that fight looked very, very muscular, very big. And as a result, you know, people tend to do that when they get older get along in their career. They tend to put on over the years a lot of muscle mass, and with more muscle mass means that you have slower feet. It's more to move around over the course of that fight, and it will probably just is that's how he's going to be. He's just going to be in front of the guy, have that guy be relatively close in front of him. His reflexes did not look as sharp, didn't look as quick as they did in the earlier days. I went and looked at some fights where he was younger, and just to kind of gauge it, and yeah, guy's getting a lot older, right? So, but at the end of the day, he did what he's supposed to do. Errol Spence Jr., however, releases a t-shirt. Not going to use the graphic of the t-shirt in the video. Again, I don't really like to do that stuff because it's not my property. However, he basically is big fish on the phone, you know, calling somebody on the phone, and looks like a door with Terence Crawford's eyes popping out of it, like wide open and scared. While Errol Spence Jr. is knocking on the door, trying to get that fight made with him. And I think that that's probably still the same way Errol Spence Jr. feels about the fight, that he's going to try to go back to the table and get that fight done. The only thing that Terence Crawford said about it in his fight was that he hopes, that we can get back to the table and make these big fights. Did not say Errol Spence Jr.'s name specifically. Didn't say that he wanted to fight or that he thought that fight was going to get done. So, more than likely, man, I suspect that Terence Crawford is in the same mindset that he's always been in, which is that he doesn't want that fight. For whatever reason, not really in the business of calling him a bunch of names and what he's saying he's scared, this, that, and the other thing, because I can't read that man's mind. However, I can hear his words and I can see his actions, and through his words and his deeds, that is what's communicated. And it's very, very unfortunate, because that is just a really big fight that a lot of people would be really excited to see, myself, included. But, it is what it is. However, I do believe that Errol Spence Jr. himself will try to push to try to get that fight done again, because that's a fight that he wants to get done. However, I suspect that Terence Crawford will probably wind up doing the same thing again, which is go through negotiations, see what's on the table, and then take a fight with somebody else. That is, unless that fight with BOK Prime did so poorly in the pay-per-view that they don't want to invest in that again, which I don't think is going to be the case, because they had to have known that they were going to lose a lot of that money anyway going into that fight, because it's not, that particular fight is not going to do well on pay-per-view. Now, who would he fight next? More than likely, we're not going to find out, since it's December. We're probably not going to find out until maybe next December, maybe January, something like that in 2024. Terence Crawford has been fighting for the last several years, one time a year. So he's more than likely it's not going to be in June. Now, Errol Spence Jr., we've not heard what his next fight is going to be yet for sure. More than likely it's going to be Keith Thurman. Could be somebody else, though. Could decide that he needs to go to 154 pounds. Manny Pacquiao was actually out there talking about how he wanted to fight Terence Crawford or Errol. And honestly, I wouldn't doubt that Manny Pacquiao could fight either one of them, right? But the fight that everybody wants to see is Errol and Terence, or at least to see an undisputed fight at 147 pounds. Now, what will more than likely happen, or depending on a couple things with Terence Crawford, is that he probably is going to have a mandatory due, or he'll have a mandatory due in, I do believe, May, which and most likely, highest likelihood, he's not going to fight before May. So that will come due, and it will be interesting to see what the WBO does. The number one guy in that division right now is in the position to be the mandatory for him is Virgil Ortiz, but Virgil Ortiz is going to a purse bid with Amanda Stanionis for a WBA regular belt, which means, he's probably going to be out of that WBO thing, which means Jaron Ennis would be the guy that's there that very well could become the mandatory. Now, Jaron is fighting on January 7th against Kareen, and I can't remember his last name. I don't want to try to pronounce his last name, but he has that fight as an IBF title eliminator. But he very well could also take a WBO mandated fight with Terence Crawford and get that quicker than he would the Errol Spence Jr. fight. So anyway, it is what it is. We'll see how everything pans out. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.